Whatever journey you embark on with your family, Jennian Homes would love to partner with you to build a home you'll be proud to own. Jennian Homes, New Zealand's most awarded and trusted home builder.
Lincoln University. The future belongs to the relevant. With industry-specific knowledge, hands-on experience, and world-leading research, Lincoln graduates are relevant today and ready for tomorrow. Lincoln University. Apply now.
The lifeblood of a city is its people. People provide the character and the energy of a city. Ōtautahi, Christchurch, our city, is founded on the spirit of exploration. It is embedded in our city's DNA. Our history has been shaped by it. Our present is built upon it, and our future will be created by it. Christchurch has always been about new beginnings, explorers, innovators, and people doing things differently. Our people are explorers, challenging the status quo, exploring ideas with impact and shaping our future. Our city is creative, organic, and evolving. It is a place to grow, connect, and find balance. Explore our past, our present, and our future. Explore Ōtautahi, Christchurch.
This Athletics New Zealand event is proudly brought to you by Jennian Homes.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Champs 2019. This is the 120th running of this event. 120 years. Wow, it's amazing. There's a lot of history in this event. And so thanks for tuning into our live stream. We are finally up with our official live stream just in time to catch the heats of the men's under 18 100 metres. So let's run through our start list. We have Damon Shute from Auckland, Luke Barrett from Canterbury, Ethan Wallace from Waikato Bay of Plenty, Liam Kerr of Otago, Trent Hogg from Southland, and Tiaki Lenua is our international runner from Tahiti, it looks like. Lenoir, I'm guessing. So we're going to get back up again for a restart for this 100 metres. So as you can see on screen, it is very cold conditions for 100 metre running. We've got a stiff southerly blowing behind their back, so we'll wait and see whether we get some legal wind readings for these sprints. But it is safe to say it's nice and cool. And they're off. So our Auckland athlete, Damon Shute, looking nice and strong. He's got the fastest PB out of all of them, but coming through, Ethan Wallace. Wow, nice strong finish there. So winning in about 11.54. So solid run there from Ethan Wallace. Damon Shute was in second place. We're going to catch a replay here. So Ethan Wallace finishing nice and strong. Just looking over to his left, and he secures the place in the final. So top two from each heat plus the next two best times will go through, and there are 3 heats total with the finals running this evening. So top 2 from each of those 3 heats, and then the next fastest losers. Do we say losers? Next fastest times go through to the final this evening. So this morning, we have the 100-metre heats, under 18s, and the men's under 20. The women's under 20 is going to be a straight final this evening. We've also got the men's and women's senior 100-metre heats, and then the 400-metre heats will be shortly after that, and then the 3,000-metre race walks, and then into the 800-metre heats after 1 o'clock. In the field, right now we have the men's under 20 javelin warming up. The pole vault women's 18, I believe, has just finished up, and we also have the women's under 20 high jump coming up very shortly, and the men's under 20 triple jump. So thanks for joining in. If you are watching this on Facebook, do feel free to tag in your friends, family, club mates. Make sure we get as many eyeballs on this screen as possible. We're also live on YouTube, so if you want a higher resolution version of this, if you've got a smart TV and you want to put it up on the big screen, jump over to YouTube, look for Athletics New Zealand, and you'll find the live stream right there. Going live on YouTube and Facebook. Modern technology, bringing athletics to the people.
So quick plug for one of our sponsors. If you want to meet the New Zealand 400-metre record holder, Sean Farrell, he's a shoe clinic man and he's got a trackside sale. Don't forget to check out deals from Shoe Clinic, and Athletics New Zealand sponsor 2XU. All 2XU compression reduced 30% and 80% off all track spikes.
All right, so the second heat of the 100 metres, under 18. And so in lane 2, we have Jamie Chambers-Stewart of Auckland, Ben Smith of Otago. I'm guessing not the All Blacks Ben Smith, but maybe a relation. Jed Syme from Canterbury, Jordan Stewart from Wellington, Dimitri Maori from Tahiti, Kane De Vries of Taranaki, and Jack Rogers from Canterbury in lane 8. So our top performing times, looking through the start list, Jordan Stewart is probably the man to watch in lane 5, wearing the Wellington singlet. And then next to him, Dimitri Maori of Tahiti. He's got a 11:30 to his name. And then in lane 2, Jamie Chambers-Stewart of Auckland. He's got an 11:54. So they're probably the 3 men to watch, but who knows, in the day, they've got a pretty generous tailwind behind them, but it is cold, so poor Tahitian arriving, would have arrived yesterday to a beautiful warm 28 degrees. Right now at trackside, you'd be lucky if it's 13. So as we look here at the men's javelin, so Norman Tudor of Southland looking reasonably happy with that throw. Sorry we missed the landing of it. We're still getting some of our camera crew set up. Having had some technical difficulties this morning thanks to the rain. It's been quite an adventure of a morning with the weather closing in. Okay, so here we have the men's under 18, heat 2. We have Shoot in lane 2, Barrett. Lane 3, Wallace. Lane 4, Kerr. Lane 5, Hogg. Sorry, let me get up to speed. I was reading the last heat's notes, as you probably noticed. The sprint crowd out there will be saying, what are you doing, Hayden? Okay, here we go. So here's the start list for heat 2. Chambers-Stewart from Auckland, Ben Smith from Otago, Syme from Canterbury, Stewart from Wellington, Maori from Tahiti, DeVries from Taranaki, Rogers from Canterbury. And here, right from the start, Jordan Stewart looking very strong, taking it out. And very, very cruisy run, looking very, very quick. So 11:24, so that's very close to a personal best. His best is 11:19. So Jordan Stewart cruising through this one. Standing up tall, good, strong technique. It looked like he was just on a little warm-up stride there. I'm sure he wasn't. He was very close to his personal best. We'll get confirmation on the rest of that field, see who claimed that crucial second place to make it through to the final. Okay, and our Southland athlete here in the javelin. So as you can see on screen, a lot of people wrapped up. There's a lot of weather in the neighborhood, a lot of rain on the camera lenses. Definitely, it's nice and cool. Good for the distance runners, not so good for the field and for the sprint events. All right, so a good strong throw. I believe that was from our international athlete Sugiyama. Just get confirmation on that. So we've got one more heat of the men's under 18 100 metre. And
ladies and gentlemen, we now have the medal
lane
ceremony.
one we'll have Caleb Bone from Canterbury.
The medal ceremony is for the
In lane
men
3, Flynn
3,000
Murdoch, sorry, of
18.
Otago. Felix Pop
This
of
event is
Tasman,
sponsored
Troy
by New World.
McGillicuddy,
And
that's a name.
today,
Auckland City
Lieutenant Diana
Athletics
Roger, former president
representative
of
Ab
Athletics New Zealand,
Ejit Palmer,
and New Zealand
and then
Olympic
Tyrone Hilton
Commonwealth
from
Games
Waikato Bay of
representative.
Plenty. Jacob Stockwell
Presenting
of
medals
Taranaki.
today.
So Jacob Stockwell is coming in with the best time of the field. He's got an 11:07 to his name. Tyrone Hilton 11:14, and then Flynn Murdoch, he's got an 11:22 to his name. So look for Jacob Stockwell of Taranaki to be taking this out nice and strong in lane 8.
Was Andres Hernandez from Manawatu Wanganui in a time of 8 minutes 46:61.
So on screen we had Benjamin Baines,
And the gold winner,
our para-athlete in the men's under 20. So we've got a really strong para field this year. I believe it's the strongest we've ever had. And there on screen is the men's under 18 3,000 metre medal presentation, I believe.
That's our medalists for the men's 3,000 metres run under 18.
So Zane Powell
Here at Puna, New Zealand
coming
Athletics.
storming
Well done.
home to win that out of Auckland. It's quite a talent out of King's College. All right, here we are with the final heat of the men's under 18 100 metres. In lane 2, wearing the Canterbury singlet, Caleb Bone. As we jump over to the javelin, Kamada out of Auckland. All right, so eyes on lane 8, Jacob Stockwell in the Taranaki jumper out very strong. But on the other side of the track, Caleb Bone is also running well, but Jacob Stockwell, he's going to run away with it. Very strong. Tyrone Hilton coming through in second place from Waikato Bay of Plenty. Jacob Stockwell. As we look, he's drawn the outside lane, but it didn't make any difference. He just put his feet down and stormed away and claimed his spot in the final, which will be on later tonight. So the 100 metres this evening will get underway from 5:45. So that'll be the women's under 18. And then we have a series of 100 metres on the track and jump into the 5,000 metre finals. The big 100 metre finals, senior women, senior men, will kick off at 7:20. So be sure to put that in your reminders on your phone to tune in this evening, because it's the Friday night at the New Zealand Athletics Champs is always a thrilling evening with the 100 metre finals, 5,000 metre finals, and also we've got the men's high jump, looking for big things from Hamish Kerr this evening. The men's shot put, of course, with Tom Walsh and Jack O'Gill going head to head. Also pole vault, men's under 18. There's a lot happening this evening, so plan your evening around tuning in to this Facebook and YouTube live coverage. And if you've just joined us, welcome to the cold. That is Christchurch, the new track of Ngā Punawai, being christened with the Jennian Homes 2019 Athletics Championships. The 120th running of this event, where we've got 650 athletes lining up. They've been training hard all year, for years and years, for these events. This weekend is the weekend where dreams are made. So here we go. Our Canterbury athlete in the javelin. So that's Jared Neighbours. He's got the best PB out of all of our entries here in the men's under 20 javelin throw. So he's got a 53.75 to his name. We've also got a international athlete, Sugiyama, with a 67 meters, so he'll be good to really pull along our Kiwis. And the other over 50 meter performer is Ethan Walker out of Otago. So they're kind of your top three to be looking out for in the javelin competition. All right, so that's Cam Robinson out of Wellington. Now we can work out who it is. You know, he's taken his back brace off. So looking like he's got a PB of 40 meters, so possibly pushing that PB on a little bit there. So this morning we've got a lot of field events happening, so we're going to try and catch as much of it as possible. It's going to be tricky as we jump between events and also try and catch what's happening in the sprints and the 100 meter heats. But on right now we have the men's 20 javelin. We've also got the women's under 20 high jump coming up very soon. And the men's under 20 triple jump is the other one to look out for. So here's our international athlete, Shunsuke Sugiyama, wearing number 300. He's got a personal best of 67 meters, so let's see how he can push that out. So a very strong talent. Good to have these international athletes coming to the competition. We usually see a few in each event, and it really helps to push the Kiwis along, and also give some some good event exposure, particularly I know the Tahitians make a special effort of coming along to this event, and it gives them some really good competition that's hard to come by in their home country. So
presenting this event.
So Matthew Orkamp out of Auckland, he's got a personal best of 43.48.
In third place, we had Centane Noon Duckworth from Auckland with a throw of 46.46 metres. In silver medals, we have Matijevic Wiki from Northland with a throw of 46.66 metres. And our gold medalist today from Auckland is Millie Name with a throw of 51.98 metres. Well done, ladies.
So that was the women's 18 hammer throw. That was run earlier this morning. Apologies to those who have just joined us. We didn't catch much of those early morning field events, just with some technical difficulties as a result of the rain. We just got set up about 15 minutes ago, so we also managed to capture the under 18 3,000 metre finals and the men's under 20 5,000 metre finals, so just on phone, so you can go back and watch those if you've missed them, but we're now live with our official stream. Okay, so here we have our Auckland athlete, Kamara, with a personal best of 43.35. And looking like he's getting out towards that 40-metre mark.
Grace going out for all the walk judges.
So they'll be throwing into a reasonably strong southerly.
Just where Jennian is. Now we have a car in the car park, registration LBQ459. It's a blue Swift, and you've left your back window open. LBQ459.
So Ethan Walker, he's one of our athletes who has thrown over 50 metres in the past. So we've got two Kiwis in the field, Ethan Walker and Jared Neighbours, who are both plus 50-metre throwers. So he's got a best of 52.31. Coming up to his release.
Just another request going out for...
And yeah, good throw. So he's looking like he's certainly pushing on that 50-metre mark.
Just beyond the long jump pit.
We now have the medals for the women's 3,000 metres under 18. This event is sponsored by New World. And again we have Diane Roger, former President of Athletics New Zealand and New Zealand Olympic and Commonwealth Games representative, kindly presenting the medals for us. In third place for this event was Martina Connor from Canterbury with a time of 10 minutes and 38 seconds. In second place from Waikato Bay, we have Samantha Corbett with a time of 10 minutes, 30 seconds, .09. And
So
our
Norman Tudor
champion today from Auckland
from Southland
is Isabella Richardson in a time of 10 minutes, 10 seconds, .24.
Okay, so there we have the
Please give
medalist
a
for the under 18 3,000 metre champs. Isabella Richardson was your leader from the front, and she ran a really good solo effort to claim that national title.
Now that's a very good example. That's a very good example. The javelin, excellent throw, but it was outside the line of why we need to look at keep our proper health and safety, and people shouldn't be on anywhere on the inside of the track. Anthony Curry, could you report to the control room urgently?
All right, James Mitchell coming up to the javelin. He's got a personal best of 46.63, so that might be close. Certainly over the 40-metre mark.
Next event on the track.
Yeah, great throw from our
100 metres. In lane 2 we have Nick Forster from Canterbury.
Wellington athlete
lane
there.
3, Hayato Yonita from Southland. Lane 4 we have George Kozlov from Auckland.
So as you can see, the women's under 20 high jump is getting underway.
Lane 6, Ethan Butcher from Wellington.
We're going to get a
7, Timothy Horton
confirmation of the height coming through here. So it's starting off at 152.
And lane 9, Joseph Brooks from Tasman. That's heat 1, men's 20, 100 metres. Update for you from the...
So here's our start list for the women's under 20. So Josephine Reeves, Imogen Skelton, Katie Lee Roper, Maddie Wilson, Kate Davies, Taylor Thorne, Anastasia Naylor, and Lee Mutzel.
So heat 1 of men's 20, 100 metres. The record for this is held by Edward.
So on screen there is Shunsuke Sugiyama, a very well performed men's javelin thrower from Japan, I'm guessing. Now, up on the track we have the men's under 20 100 metres heats, heat 1 of 3. I'm going to quickly run through the start list. We've got Nick Forster, Hayato Yonito, George Kozlov, Will Campbell, Ethan Butcher, Timothy Horton, James Guthrie Croft, Joseph Brooks.
Looks like it's the man,
and it is Joseph Brooks who is running very powerfully.
Take that out, and that's James Guthrie Croft.
Sorry, that is James Guthrie Croft from Auckland. I think Joseph Brooks was a non-starter. Oh, sorry, it was just outside him. So James Guthrie Croft, he's a 10.81 man at his best. So we've got 2 from each heat we'll be going through, and then the next fastest times will go through to the final this evening. So the javelin here we have our para athlete.
Steve Willis, your bag is at the announcer's box if you'd like to collect
So
it.
Benjamin Baines out of Otago. And
we now go to the middle ceremony.
the high jump here we have Anastasia Naylor out of Canterbury. She's got a best of 168.
And we have Diane Roger again presenting the medal ceremonies for us.
The bar is set at 152 there on the high jump.
In lane 3, in third position, And the bronze medal goes to Liam Lamb from Wellington with a time of 15 minutes 52.55.
So Katie Lee Roper
The silver
there just
medal
knocking the
goes
bar
to
off
Stuart Hoffmeyer
at
from Auckland
1:52.
with a time of 15 minutes 52 seconds, .45.
So she's got a best of
And taking
171,
up the
so
gold
she'll
medal today was
certainly be
Toby
looking to
Goldschmidt
improve
from
on that. But
Wellington
tricky conditions,
with a
there's not
time
a
of
water on the
15
ground. The
minutes
rain has officially
51.97.
stopped. So we've got heat 2 of 3 of the men's under 20 100-metre heats, and let me run through the start list. We've got a full complement of 9 runners lining up. So in lane 1, Kyle Cozy of Canterbury. In lane 2, Cody Wilson of Wellington. Then Finn McNaughton of Southland, Josh Crook of Canterbury, Ben Gentry of Auckland, Matthias Pio of Waikato Bay of Plenty, Kamada of Auckland, and Harry Cockram of Canterbury, and Mohammed Smith of Auckland. So Mohammed is our top performer there at 10.78. And then we've got another sub-11 runner, Cody Wilson, at 10.89 is his best. So lane 9 and lane 2 will be the ones to watch.
So now that meet manager's been restored, we're on heat 2 of the men's 20 100 metres. We've got Kyle Cossey in 1, Cody Wilson in 2, Finn McNaughton in 3, Josh Crook in 4.
So welcome to the microphone, Hamish Meacham. Good to have some company here in the cold.
Yeah, cheers, Hayden. You were looking a little bit lonely, so I thought I'd come and pop in for a little bit while I'm able to. What race have we got in front of us here?
We've got heat 2 of the men's under 20 100 metres.
Keep your eye on Mohammed Smith in lane 9 out of Auckland, a very capable young athlete. Oh, this is a good field, actually. Matthias Pio, very good.
I figured his name was Mohammed. It's
Yes.
written as Mohammed. So is that going to go down in the record books if he wins? But anyway.
Don't
so
quote me. Smith out well.
He's in lane 9. So Mohammed, and then we've got Cody Wilson storming very strong. He looks like he's going to take it.
Yeah, so
Not sure
Cody Wilson out of Wellington, Matthias Pio, Waikato Bay Plenty, and Mohammed Smith out of Auckland, looking pretty good to qualify through to that next round.
Yeah, so top 2 are going through, and then the fastest 2. So I believe it was Mohammed and Cody who got the automatics. I'd be surprised if Matthias missed out on one of the fastest 2.
Yep. Very very strong, capable young athletes here. We've got a good group coming through of junior men's sprinters.
Absolutely.
Yep. Probably not, to be fair, not quite as promising as the women's sprinting stocks in New Zealand. We've got a bit of high jump action now on the screen. Looks like the Otago athlete is that Taylor Thorne.
Yeah, Taylor Thorne.
Typical high jumping figure, long, lean.
So just clipping off the bar. So we're up to 157 now.
Very trying conditions for the high jumpers. A little bit of a slippery surface. The event really is incumbent on those athletes being able to grip in on that last step.
And they've also got a bit of wind to contend with as well on their approach to the bar.
Yeah, it looks cold. That athlete just shaking a little bit there. It is probably, what, about 12, 13 degrees.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not warm.
And another unsuccessful attempt.
Leah Mutzel.
Manawatu Wanganui represents. Access man high jump.
So if you've just joined us, you are tuned into the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Champs. You're in the right place where all the action's happening here at Christchurch. A brand new track in Puna. It's a brilliant facility, isn't it, Hamish?
It's a brilliant facility. The locals have loved it. And speaking of locals, it looks like Anastasia Naylor out of Canterbury.
So she's got a best of 168. The bar is at 157. So let's see how she goes. And another one just clipping the bar.
It's these conditions. They'll be absolutely gutted, these young ladies, because you train all year for this, and you come here and it's cold and it's rainy and you can't do what you've been doing in practice. I'm not sure what attempt these ladies are on.
No, I'm not sure either. There's been a lot to keep track of this morning.
Yeah, you've been doing a great job. I was tuning into the live stream on Facebook as I was getting an Uber here, as we see from Hawke's Bay, Maddie Wilson, personal best of 170. How she goes at 157 over clear. Maddie Wilson, Hawke's Bay, Gisborne. Oh, I say Gisborne. That's incorrect. It's Gisborne.
Gisborne.
Maddie Taylor comfortable. She's got a bit of room there. One of the best jumpers in the competition, although they're clustered pretty tightly in terms of PBs, with the exception of Josephine Reed from Wellington.
Yeah, we haven't seen Josephine open up her campaign yet. She's got a best of 181, which is taller than me.
Yeah, she's a future 2-metre high jumper, very well coached by Mike Ritchie out of Wellington. She competes for the Lower Hutt Club, and here's the third and final heat of the junior men's 100 metres.
All right, so we have Geordie Anand from Canterbury, Tian Welton of Canterbury as well, Angus Gilbert of Canterbury, Isaac Oliver of Wellington, Alexander Dawson of Tasman, Andrew Popham of Southland, Ben Allen of Hawke's Bay Gisborne, John Gerber of Canterbury, and TJ Paia of Auckland.
Watch lane 5, the Tasman athlete, Alexander Dawson, one of the best starters in the New Zealand men's sprinting scene. Very quick out of the blocks.
He's got 1073 to his name, so one of our top competitors in this competition. So this is the final heat, and as you say, he's off nice and quick. Also our Auckland athlete, TJ Paia.
And Tan Welpin from Canterbury. No, in fact, that's Angus Gilbert. Angus Gilbert takes the win from TJ Paia out of Auckland. So Angus Gilbert, Canterbury, looking very good there. Big lad, big smile from the big man. Fantastic running. Very comfortable. Dawson looked like he might have picked up third after a very good start.
Yes.
Maybe hobbling a little bit, Alexander Dawson.
And not to correct you, but I will, Hamish. It was actually Tian Welton who picked up that win.
Oh, golly.
The 3 Canterbury athletes in a row made it awfully challenging.
Easy mistake to make.
All right,
and over in the women's high jump, that is Taylor Thorne Otago, clear at 157. She'll be stoked. That's either her second or third attempt. And we're seeing now the Manawatu Wanganui athlete. Oh no, Auckland decathlete. That's Atwell, I believe, on the runway. Very well coached by Brent Booker out of Pakuranga. Decathlete, so not a javelin specialist, but out towards 40 metres all the same.
All right, so that's all of our men's under 20 100-metre heats done and dusted for the day. The next heats that we're going to be seeing on the track will be the senior women's, I believe, as we just sort out our notes here. Yes, so let me just double check that. Yes, it is the senior women's 100 metres will be up next. We're going to have 3 heats as we prepare for that.
Yeah, and unfortunately another fail for Anastasia Naylor of Canterbury. I believe she's got one more jump. And here we go, more action in the junior
Kamada.
What a name and what a throw, the Aucklander. Not too bad, out peppering around that 40-metre mark. You're probably going to have to be throwing over 50 to pick up a medal today, even in these conditions. Some very good junior throwers.
Yeah, so we've got 2 Kiwis who are 50-metre plus athletes, so Ethan Walker and Jared Neighbours. Then we've got an international athlete who's streaks ahead of them all. It's Sugiyama, so he's got a 67-metre.
Wow.
His name.
Not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad at all.
And final attempt at 157. Looks like Taylor Thorne Otago. She looks cold.
I mean, you'd think these athletes would be used to it in Dunedin, but I think it was 30 degrees down there yesterday, so.
There she goes.
So
up and unlucky Taylor Thorne.
Yeah,
unsuccessful.
so we're now at 161. So I believe that was her final attempt, but we'll try and get confirmation of that. As our Hawke's Bay Gisborne athlete, James Mitchell, throws the big old spear down the runway.
Not endorsing that haircut from James Mitchell. Looks like he needs to have a trip to the barbers. However, I'm not sure they'll have any effect on his javelin throwing. And there we go. The lady, no, it's not. Is that another Wellington? Is there two Wellingtonians in the field?
Yeah, so that was Imogen Skelton.
Yep. PB of 176. So on paper, the second best jumper in the competition. Very comfortably over 161.
No worries with 161.
And back now to Leah Muetzel, and unlucky, and we're not 100% sure, but we're thinking that's the third and final for Muetzel of Manawatu Wanganui and Thorne of Otago. We've been wrong before though, Hayden.
Yeah, I have been wrong a couple of times.
Oh, I was wrong once in 1997. I remember it well. It was an embarrassing moment. Hawke's Bay Gisborne athletes going for 161.
So Maddie Wilson.
Easy does it, Maddie Wilson.
Very good. So she's, on paper, she is our third best, fourth best competitor, actually. So I'm feeling like there's going to be a good battle for that bronze medal.
Yeah.
We've got Josephine Reeves, who is our certainly the favourite coming into this event. And then Imogen Skelton would be number 2. But then Katie Lee Roper has a 171 to her name, and Maddie Wilson has a 170. So
yeah. And I believe we just saw some footage there of the Wellingtonian Cam Robertson competing in his Kiwi Athletic Club singlet. Looking pretty good. And this is
Taylor Thorne again.
Taylor Thorne unsuccessful. So it's possible that she cleared that 157 and we just didn't see that. And then that would make that her second unsuccessful attempt at 161. We'll find out very shortly. And that would place Leah Muetzel of Manawatu Wanganui in the same boat. I think on the runway there, throwing the javelin you see in the background, and Otago athletes. That might be Ethan Walker, personal best of 52.31.
Yeah, and that might be pushing it. It was a very good throw. It's always difficult to see by eye, but that's looking like it's beyond that 50-metre mark. So
yeah, I've got 51.94, I believe, on the display board, which I hope Ashley Sando will swing back my way again so I can see it. No, just short of 50, 49.61 for Ethan Walker from Otago. Bit of a break here. The senior woman 100-metre run is still warming up out the back. As I came in the stadium, I saw they're still all rugged up. Here's our international javelin thrower.
Sugiyama throwing that javelin way up into the air, and he'll be out beyond the 50-metre mark.
Tough conditions to come all the way from. Where's he from, Sugiyama?
I'm guessing Japan.
Okay. Yeah, there are several Japanese javelin throwers and some Japanese distance runners joining us for this weekend. About over 20 international athletes. As we see Thorne, third and final attempt, no good. She
out of that.
Yeah, but she broke the plane there, so that counts as an attempt, gets the red flag, and Taylor Thorne ducks out of the competition, having cleared 157. Not bad. And now third final attempt, Leah Muetzel, 102 Wanganui, over.
Very, very good.
Fantastic.
So she's got a best
stuff.
of 165, so she'll be approaching that personal best.
Yep, only 4 centimetres, so the next height should jump up above and beyond that. Lots of excitement here down at Puna, the official opening of this fantastic facility. I'm looking around seeing television cameras, celebrities all around us. The slightly overcast conditions not keeping the crowds away. Free entry today. If you're in the Canterbury region, now's the time to grab your keys, grab a hot cup of coffee and head down to Napunawai. It's free entry.
Is it free entry every day, or is it just for today?
Just for today, just as a gift to the people of Canterbury and New Zealand. You can come down and check out today for free, and then for pricing information on the remaining 2 days, check out our website, www.athletics.org.nz, and Javelin thrower, you know this name, Hayden?
Yeah, this is Kamara. I'm hoping that it's not a typo, that it is his full name, and I'm not leading everyone astray.
Possibly the best name in athletics since many, a name well known to many Cantabrians, decathlete at the 1974 Commonwealth Games, father of Bernice Mini, Silver Ferns captain.
Oh, of course.
Unsuccessful attempt at 165. That is Imogen Skelton of Wellington. And here we go, Leah Metzel, after having cleared 161 on her third attempt, is going for a PB.
This will equal her PB.
In very tough conditions. Oh, and that was close. Just needs a little bit more pop off the surface there. But very good attempt in trying conditions. Must give a shout out to our sponsor, the naming rights sponsor of this event, Jennian Homes, supporting the Athletics New Zealand Track and Field Champs. Once again, fantastic to have you on board. And of course, Christchurch NZ, who have enabled this event to come. Here's Reeves.
Josephine Reeves.
Boom. One of the potential stars of this meet, Josephine Reeves, jumping in the junior women's easy clearance over 165. She's likely to double back and jump in the senior women's high jump as well, and is in fact a good chance at picking up that title if things go away. Wilson, you see, interestingly, Wilson, she must be a multi-eventer. I believe those are just general spikes rather than specialist high jump spikes, so she doesn't have high jump spikes, have little grip, little spikes in the back that enable you to really dig into the track. So
I'm impressed that you know your high jumping spikes.
Oh, mate, I'm
as a distance runner.
Back in the day, I was a -85 high jumper in the National Club League. Yes, I had hops. Believe it or not, I can barely jump out of bed these days. Imogen Skelton, second unsuccessful attempt. Yeah, for those who are uninitiated, here's Allcamp, the decathlete, National Junior Decathlon medalist, out over 40 metres, it looks like. I'll keep an eye on the display board.
Yeah, Allcamp's got a 43-48 best. As we see our Manawatu Wanganui athlete
represents
Leah Mutzel, just missing that second attempt at 165. See our athletes well wrapped up.
Yeah, it is. It's not warm here in Canterbury. It was forecast to be mid-20s all weekend, so it's a bit of a surprise. Bit of rain.
I've learnt whenever you come to the Track and Field Nationals in the South Island, you bring a lot more clothes than you think you need to. Up that baggage allowance.
Yeah.
Put the puffer jacket in.
I wish you'd talked to me prior to my packing for this trip, Hayden.
Okay, Maddie Wilson.
Oh, gutting. So close, Maddie Wilson from Hawke's Bay, Gisborne.
I believe that's her second attempt, so she'll have another hit at that, see if she can just tweak things.
Here's her teammate, James Mitchell, with the long flowing hair. Vast arm, James Mitchell.
So,
oh, that's a good throw. So he's got a best of 46.63. That might be just a tick under that.
Just confirming Matthew Allcamp, his last throw, 41.55. Knocking on the door of his best. Let's see how Mitchell goes. And here's the first heat of the senior women's 100 metres. We're going to go through this. There's some names to be aware of and watch out for. Away you go, Hayden.
Okay, lane 3, Jakoa Palmer of Otago. Zoe Hobbs, you might have heard of her. She's a speedy young lady.
Newly minted New Zealand record holder, 11.37. One to watch for. Possible she's going to have a good crack at World Champs qualifying in the next few weeks.
And resident record, we should just remind people of that.
Very good point.
Not far off the all-time national record of Michelle Seymour, which is 11.32. So I think she can take it out this weekend. What do you reckon?
Yeah, if the weather cooperates, she's very likely to do that. If not here, then the Australian champs beckon. Lane 5, Jane Henley-Smith. I'm going to presume she is a daughter or close relative of Gary Henley-Smith, competing for Waikato Bay Plenty. Christina Ashton from Otago, Helena Dinnison of Canterbury, and Simone Tafunai of Auckland. And Simone, a training partner of the lady you see. No, that's Simone coming out of the blocks there, training partner of Zoe Hobbs. very well coached by James Mortimer, who's coaching 3 of the fastest ladies in New Zealand. You add Livy Wilson, who you will see in, I believe, Heat 3.
Yeah, and I think the 2 Auckland athletes are going to be the ones to look out for. So Zoe Hobbs in lane 4 and then Tafunai in lane 8. So they're the 2 who have gone under that magic 12-second barrier.
Yeah, and 12 seconds is it is a barrier. You break 12, you're likely to be a finalist here at Athletics New Zealand Nationals. But really, to be truly world class, you need to get into those low 11s, and Zoe Hobbs is really knocking on the door. You see her in lane 4 with the Otago athlete on her right, the Waikato Bay of Plenty athlete Henley Smith on her left, Zoe Hobbs.
Yeah, so Zoe Hobbs is a very exciting talent. She's had a fantastic summer, just PBs left, right and centre.
And away cleanly, one of the most important things, no false start. Zoe Hobbs and Simone Tafuna looking very strong. Auckland 1-2 all the way, comfortable running. Zoe Hobbs, it looked like Christina Ashton in 3rd, Simone Tafunai in 2nd. 1-2, the James Mortimer crew qualifying easily for the final, which is later on this evening. We're very much looking forward to those 100-metre finals, Hayden.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an incredible night. Friday night at the New Zealand Athletics Champs is always brilliant to watch. There's action with the men's shot put in the field.
The men's 5,000 metres, which plans to be very exciting. Over 30 athletes lining up for that men's 5,000 metres. And, of course, these 100-metre finals are able-bodied, junior, senior, and para-athletes.
Yeah. And it's where we find out who is the best distance runner in the country and the fastest in the country, which is a cool little thing to discover.
And potentially the strongest man in the country with Tom Walsh.
Yes.
And here we see Skelton of Wellington. Unlucky. That might be her. The bar's up to 169. So great work by our live stream crew, bringing the graphics there.
Keeping us up to date with what's happening.
It is very hard to keep track of all the action, Hayden.
Yeah, we've got 3 events happening all at once. So we've got the women's under-20 high jump, and we've got the men's under-20 javelin. I'll just check, it is the under-20. Yes, it is the under-20. And the senior women's 100-metre heats. So we saw in Heat 1, Zoe Hobbs comfortable claiming her place in the final along with Simone Tafunai.
Correct. And here we just saw some footage of Benjamin Baines, para-athlete from Otago, throwing the javelin, his best 25.95. So combined event, the senior para javelin competition, with the exception of Rory. Who's the New Zealand senior men's para-Olympian who throws the javelin? Rory. I feel like I should know this name.
You should know this.
I should. He's injured anyway. I saw him at the gym this morning working out, not throwing.
Were you at the gym this morning? This is the...
I was at a board meeting this morning, and there happened to be a gym at the facility. His favourite athletes to announce, Kamara, only 18 years old, out of Auckland. Classical technique, holding the javelin low and well back with a straight arm. Difficult for us to judge the distance from where we are, but peppering around that 40-metre mark. Some close-up footage of Skelton, 7.28 from Wellington. The bar now up to $1.73, Hayden. So really
we've moved up.
Getting into pretty exciting territory in this junior women's high jump. Not sure how many competitors are left. We know that Josephine Reeves is still going.
Josephine Reeves is definitely through. We're guessing Imogen is still in the game.
We could be down to the medalists, and it could in fact be a battle for the gold. We'll try and keep you up to date. And I believe this is Norman Tudor of Southland.
He'll be aiming to get this out beyond that 40-metre mark.
A little bit of a hitch step in the last few steps there. Just slowing down his approach speed, but good strong arm. Tudor from Southland. He'll be used to these uncomfortable conditions, being from Invercargill. I've actually never been to Invercargill, Hayden, but I just imagine
it's actually quite tropical.
I have a presumption that it's actually quite Arctic, you know, like ice and snow forming around the roofs of buildings, and you know, kind of South Pole sort of feel is what I imagine. I do need to get down to Invercargill at some stage soon. Some fantastic athletes come out of the Otago region, and here's Skelton just slightly adjusting her mark. She's planning to charge in a little bit harder than she has previously, perhaps, as she attempts 173. Skelton out of Wellington. How does this stack up with her PB? Pretty well. Best of 176, so she's getting up there.
Okay, Imogen Skelton approaching the bar.
Ooh. Maybe didn't quite hold the run-up speed that she could have. Here's decathlete Orkamp, Pakuranga. The decathletes are very interesting in these competitions. They will compete in as many as 5 or 6 events through the weekend. They like to keep their warm-ups very short, so they pretty much just rock up and compete, try and save their energy through the weekend. Not uncommon for them to pick up multiple medals throughout the weekend. We have a great history in the multi-events in New Zealand. Douglas Perini, Joanne Henry, and many, many others performing well internationally.
So James Mitchell from Hawke's Bay, Gisborne.
He's got a good, strong arm, Mitchell. I'd like to see him charge in a little harder down the runway.
The under 20 women, 1.73 metres. Still the 2 from Wellington in the competition.
In the javelin, it's quite a technical event, isn't it? You kind of think it's just biffing a stick down the field, but when you actually get hold of one, there's actually a lot going on.
Here's Reeves in the high jump.
Okay, so Josephine Reeves, she's got a best of 181. The bar is at 173.
Easy peasy for Reeves. She's actually deceptively tall, Josephine Reeves. Tall and just... the camera doesn't do her justice. She is an incredibly elastically athletic person when you see her face to face. Quite an impressive athlete.
Yeah, she's certainly got that high jumpers build.
Yep.
Having that extra height and yeah, obviously a lot of pop off the ground.
Yep, and that is the shortest javelin run-up I have ever seen in my life. It's one of the Cantabrians, so potentially Jared Neighbours.
Yes, it is.
There of a 4-step run-up. But if it works, you know, don't knock it. And
why take more steps than you need to?
Exactly. So we've got Cam Robinson on the runway, and then we're going to switch to coverage after this throw of the women's 100-metre heats, heat 2. Get on with it, Cam. We're waiting for you, mate. Yep, thumbs up. You're ready to go. Great footage here by our live stream crew. And Cam looking good again, peppering that 40-metre mark, which is his PB.
All right, so the lineup for the second heat of the senior women's 100 metres, we've got Olivia Eaton of Taranaki, Brianna Stevenson of Auckland, Summer Rutherford of Canterbury, Tamsin Harvey of Auckland, Abby Goldie of Waikato Bay of Plenty, and Fiona Centers of Otago.
Yeah, and keep an eye out on lane 3, Olivia Eaton in the Taranaki uniform, but based in Australia these days. She's a dual international surf life-saving beach sprinter, but also an emerging elite 100, 200-metre runner. Probably more slightly favours the 200. That's her number 600. You can see she has obviously been training pretty hard. She's looking in pretty good shape. That is...
Yeah, Ethan Walker. So he's one of our favourites to medal in this event, the men's under-20 javelin. He's got a 52.31 best, which compares to Jared Neighbours' best of 53.75. So it really is those two going to be competing for the medals.
Yep. Olivia Eaton, a personal best of 11.74 over 100 metres. So not quite in the stratosphere that Zoe Hobbs is in, and that last javelin throw by Ethan Walker, 48.60. Here's Skelton in the high jump, just misses out, and we're going to be heading to the block soon for Heat 2 of the women's 100 metres. All the action happening here at Puna Sports Hub.
So eyes on Olivia Eaton in lane 3, and then lane 7, Abby Goldie. They're your two favourites.
Perennial finalist in the women's sprints, Abby Goldie, brother Michael Goldie, both run for the Tauranga Ramblers Club. And
start. Now this is where it gets a little bit scary.
What did you see, Hayden? Did you notice anything?
I believe Brianna Stevenson got out pretty quick there.
Brianna Stevenson, very good 100-metre runner, more well known as a long jumper, and she may have given herself
the gun, literally.
She may have given herself the opportunity to focus exclusively on the long jump this weekend. We'll see what happens here. We don't want to call it before the track referee does. You're going to see them come out with a card soon. It could be green, it could be yellow, or it could be red and black. If it's red and black, it's bad news for Brianna Stevenson out of Auckland. Well coached by Elena Brown, who's a jump specialist.
I mean, it's tough conditions for these sprinters. You can see them trying to keep warm, trying to keep their muscles. Like, you've just constantly got in the back of your mind your hammies in this sort of weather that they're going to pop at the start of the weekend, which is going to be a big one for a lot of these athletes. They'll be eyeing up not only the 100 metres, but also the 200 and likely the 4x1.
Yeah, a little bit of drama unfolding here. Brianna Stevenson arguing the point a little bit. Doesn't look like they've reached any sort of a final decision just yet. The officials will often go into Congress before finalising any decision. Brianna Stevenson keeping a pretty close eye on the proceedings, hoping she's going to get to run. But the rules are the rules, Hayden. The athletes attempting to keep warm. That temperature hasn't budged at all. We're still sitting at 12 degrees. I see you shaking a little bit next to me, Hayden.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep warm. I'm just thinking about that coffee cart right down the far end. Wouldn't mind another one.
Yeah, I was actually going to offer to take a little break and go and get us a coffee, so I might do that after these 100-metre heats.
Oh, that'd be fantastic, Hamish.
Oh, well, I am here to serve, Hayden, and you're a member of Athletics New Zealand, so I'll do my best to help you. Now, I'm not quite sure what's happening here. I feel like if she was... No, and she has. They've called it. Very unfortunate for Brianna Stevenson. Our condolences, because that is absolutely heartbreaking. It's not something that anyone does purposefully.
Absolutely. I mean, you've been training all year, practicing your starts, and you don't want your weekend to start like that.
And she's a very good starter, Brianna Stevenson. It's an aspect of her race that she needs to go well. She was a probable finalist, so it's a real loss. But do keep an eye out. Olivia Eaton, lane 3, and Abby Goldie, Waikato Bay Plenty, the slight athlete in the yellow, red and black.
And away cleanly this time. Olivia Eaton is streaming away in the front, but also Abby Goldie is close behind her. Olivia Eaton with that long stride, striding away. And it is going to be Olivia Eaton and Abby Goldie in second, with Fiona Centers coming through for that third place.
Fantastic running in very trying conditions. And see the two ladies congratulating each other as we're going to go to a bit of a replay here, Hayden. Great mechanics from Olivia Eaton, the beach sprinter.
Yeah, getting that full arm stride there, going nice and powerful.
And of course, New Zealand has a great history of dual internationals, beach sprinting and sprinting on the track. Rob Hanna, a name that comes to mind alongside Callum Taylor, internationals in both sports. I may have got those names wrong. There'll be someone watching at home who will be going, Hamish, you don't know what you're talking about, but I assure you we do. There is a history of athletes doing very well in both sports. Interestingly, they tend to be more like 400-metre runners often than 100-metre runners. I think the strength required to run through the sand. And we're heading into the blocks now for Heat 3. So let's call it in lane 3. It's Rosie Elliott from Otago. Lane 4, hometown girl, very familiar face around these parts, Fiona Morrison of Canterbury. Livy Wilson out of Auckland, I'll come back to her. She's an interesting story. Hilary Harper, Canterbury. Brooke Summerfield, Waikato Bay of Plenty, and Natasha Eadie of Auckland in lane 8. I'm going to go back and talk about Livy Wilson. She's part of that training stable run by James Mortimer. Trains alongside Zoe Hobbs. She's got a personal best of 11.77. She's ready to go quicker, and she's got the pedigree because her dad is a certain gentleman by the name of Stu Wilson, who was a very famous All Black winger and one of the best known personalities in New Zealand rugby. There you see her, 258, the blonde hair of Livy Wilson. She is a very hard-working athlete, a physiotherapist. So
yes,
she has
sports lab. Big shout out to the sports lab.
Yep, she has a day job, fits training in where she can in the evenings. But the past couple of years, she's really made some fantastic strides. And she's an absolutely fantastic young lady. So keep an eye on Livy Wilson in the middle of your track.
Yeah, so the two Auckland athletes are our best on paper coming into this, our favourites. So they're the two sub-12 performers. But so Brooke Summerfield out there in the Waikato Bay of Plenty.
Don't count out Fiona Morrison, the Cantabrian specialist hurdler, but very good in trying conditions, very experienced.
Yes.
The Waikato Bay of Plenty.
Yeah, so Brooke Summerfield coming through for the win. Livy Wilson had to do a lot of work to get that second place there, but it is all about Brooke Summerfield, who surprised the field, really.
Yeah, she really did. It looked like Livy Wilson had a bit of trouble just adjusting out of her dry phase, getting up to full speed, perhaps.
And I wonder if we can get a side-on view of that and see who picked up that third place, because it was very, very close. We thought Natasha Eadie might have come through.
It's going to be between Natasha Eadie and Fiona Morrison. Fiona Morrison is going to be competing for the 100-metre hurdles title. Too close to call
well,
for me.
It shows you how important it is to keep running through that line. Livy Wilson even just slowing up a little bit there, with the other two coming very strong behind her.
The conditions are actually closing in a little bit, Hayden. I had heard the rain was going to clear around 11 or midday. But it's just looking worse and worse. I've got some people abusing me outside of the commentary tents. You guys can bugger right off. So we're switching now to some exciting action. The men's 100-metre heats. I'm going to go and grab that coffee, but let me tell you an interesting story. Zach Topping is a perennial finalist in the sprints here in New Zealand, out of Palmerston North, representing Manawatu Wanganui.
See him just setting up his blocks there in lane 4.
He's been in the New Zealand 4x100 team for a number of years, part of the Manawatu Wanganui National Championship 4x400 team. He hasn't run a single step since December. He's injured himself quite severely, and he's tried to put it together with a little bit of pull running, a lot of lifting, and a lot of positive thinking. And Zach Topping has made the call. He said, "No, I paid for my flights. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to trust my body." So he's literally, these are the first steps that he's possibly run at full speed in quite some time. And we're going to see how he goes. I'm going to leave you to it because it's an exciting field, Hayden. I'm going to get us a nice warm drink.
Before you go, do you know where Joseph Miller is?
I do not know. Is he not in the field?
I can't see him on the start list, so
that is very disappointing.
Will we see him in the 200 metres? We don't know. I know that he's been not at his best form this year, but we were looking forward to that matchup.
I'll see if I can get some information on that.
Yes, you dig around.
But I'll be back with you shortly. I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of our lead commentator, Hayden Sherman, here at the Jennian Holmes Athletics New Zealand Track and Field Championships.
Thanks, Hamish. Make it a mocker. Thank you. Thanks very much, Hamish. Okay, leaving these heats to me. So we've got 2 heats in the senior men's 100 metres where we're going to find out who is the fastest male in New Zealand. The final will be on this evening. And as we said, Zach Topping having to chance his arm with a bit of a niggly body. But running through the start list, in lane 2 from Auckland, we're going to have Lewis Arthur. In lane 3 from North Harbour, Gulab Singh. We've got Zach Topping in lane 4 from Manawatu Wanganui. Wearing the blue and yellow of Otago, Jake Paul from Auckland. In lane 6, we've got Jordan Bolland, and then Joel Agnew in lane 7 from Canterbury, and Dare Oye from Auckland in lane 8. So all eyes will be on Jordan Bolland, who on paper has the best PB. He's coming out of Auckland with the bleached hair. But also Gulab Singh's got a 10.88 to his name, and then Zach Topping's got a 10.85. Let's see if we can get close to that best on an injured body. Jake Paul of Otago is our other sub-11 man in the field. But number 119 with the bleached hair, Jordan Bolland, he's got a 10.63. So if you've just tuned in, welcome to the Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Champs, the 120th running of this event. 120, that is phenomenal. So we must have kicked things off way back in the 1800s. Quite a phenomenal history this event has, and it is the event where dreams come true, where heartbreak happens, as we saw in the women's 100 metres with a DQ from the start. But it is the event that 650 athletes from around the country have trained all year long for. They've put in those hard yards, soloing it on the track. We've got athletes from all sorts of places who have been training on grass tracks in Hawera or Gore, or have been training in the main centres in Auckland on beautiful artificial tracks like this one in Puna. But they've all come together here to see who's the fastest, who can jump the furthest and the highest, and can throw the furthest. And here we are with the senior men's heats. We've got heat 1 of 2. So it will be the fastest. The top 3 from each heat will go through, with the next fastest 2 from each heat. From both heats will go through to the final. Now, I believe we have a scratching here of Gulab Singh is missing. So we have Arthur, Topping, Paul, Bolland, Agnew, and Oye. Okay, out of the blocks. Jordan Bolland looking very strong, but my goodness, Zach Topping doing very well for someone who's come into this event injured. But it is going to be Jordan Bolland who takes that first automatic qualifier, followed by Jake Paul of Otago, comfortably coming through. And I've got to give it to Zach Topping. That is a phenomenal run for someone who hasn't run since December. So Jordan Bolland looking comfortable, and Jake Paul just pulling up with possibly a strained groin. Look, he's in a bit of pain. That is disappointing again. This cold weather is a real challenge for these athletes to stay warm and make sure that they're not going to pull something as they charge out of the blocks. But confirmation that Jordan Bolland and Jake Paul will go through automatically along with Zach Topping. So doing very well to make the final off a injured body there. Zach Topping.
Whose father, Gus, of course, is the current holder of the New Zealand men's 100 metre record. Edward is, of course, the...
So we'll go through the start list for the second and final heat for the men's 100 metres.
Edward is still at school in Wellington. So we have a schoolboy.
And so our international athlete, and excuse me for the pronunciation, but Piopi Suli, I believe, of Tahiti, will line up in lane 2. And then Peter Ruba Duka of Waitakere. And then lane 4, Nicholas Corbin of Waikato Bay of Plenty. And then in lane 5, a big promising talent, Edward Osei Nikitia He's a 10:30 man. He's been going forward in leaps and bounds this year. He comes from good breeding, good stock, being the son of the current New Zealand record holder, Augustine Nikitia, who holds the New Zealand record of 10:11. His son Edward getting close to that with a 10:30 this year, personal best 10:30. So he's definitely your man to watch. But then outside of him, in lane 6, we have Shula Orr of Otago, Hamish Gill of Auckland, and Ethan Holman of Waikato Bay of Plenty. So your sub-11 runners, Hamish Gill with a 10:64, Ethan Holman with a 10:80, and Edward Osei Nketia with a 10:30. And as we see here, the rain has closed in again. The wind is still very strong from the south. Conditions are far from ideal, more like the conditions we'd see at a national cross-country champs in the middle of winter rather than a track and field champs, which should be in the warmth and sunshine of summer. But here we go. It looks like we have a scratching, so Peter Rubaduka of Waitakere is not in the field, but all eyes on lane 5, Edward Osei Nketia. And you can see the rain coming in sideways. That'll be hitting their left shoulders as they stand in the blocks. Oh, and here's Hamish with a beautifully warm mochaccino for me. Thank you, Hamish.
Very welcome, mate. You can owe me one. How exciting is this? Nketia, the son of the New Zealand senior men's record holder Gus Nketia, one of the brightest young talents in sprinting worldwide.
Absolutely, and the leaps and bounds he's come forward in this season. I mean, had you heard of him last year?
He's got a younger brother as well who is equally as exciting. Question is, can we hang on to him, or will rugby come and nick him off us?
Oh, he's not playing rugby, is he?
Oh, yeah. He is, but God, look at him go. He's so strong. He's barely getting out of second gear here, but he's just he's a very impressive looking athlete. He's quite raw at the moment. You wouldn't call him a technical masterpiece, but he's got all of the pieces of the puzzle in terms of talent, drive and dedication, so an exciting one to watch.
Yeah, you can see him just straining that head forwards. And behind him, Ethan Holman of Waikato Bay of Plenty picking up the second automatic qualifier, and Hamish Gill looking very comfortable. It looked like he wasn't really in much stress to nail that third spot on the final.
Yeah, he's a very laid-back guy, Hamish Gill, primarily a long jumper, but he's picked up medals over 100 metres previously, as we see the press lining up to talk to Eddie Osei Nketia. And here's a medal ceremony. Looks like one of the throws. I recognise that athlete from Northland.
And we have Dave Norris as our presenter today.
What a man to give out the medals. It's Dave Norris, Mr. Everything at Athletics New Zealand. Commonwealth Games medalist in the long jump.
Today from Southland was Trent Hogg with a throw of 13 metres 71.
So this is the men's under 18 shot put.
Oh, 13.71 for the Southlander, not bad.
Was Zion Trigger Vitali with a throw of 16 metres and 4 centimetres.
These junior shot putters, mate, out to 16 metres and not
and
winning.
Today from Northland, Nicholas Keeney with a big throw of 18 metres 10.
Yeah, so a really solid performance there from our Northland athlete.
A round of applause for our winners today.
Very brave. I think it is the rules that you need to be in your centre uniform, but surely they're going to get hypothermia if they stay out there too long.
Well, they've got a lovely little tent next to us here where they get to stay warm, and then they rush out, they get their medals, and then you see them rushing back to put on the warmth. And here we see the results of the New Zealand Championships Women's Under-20 triple jump. Kayla Goodwin picking up the win, 12.74 in a national record. So Kayla Goodwin, very well coached by her father, John Goodwin. Out of Hamilton, Alessandra McDonald second and Emma McKay third. It says that's the starters. That's the results. We missed all of the action with earlier technical difficulties. Lydia Bamford in 5th there, a good jump, 10.6. Goes to show the standard, and her father, interestingly, a New Zealand mountain biking rep.
Wow.
So I think an Olympian, actually. So very good field in the women's triple jump. Not an event you would immediately go, oh, yeah, New Zealand's really good at that. But Kayla Goodwin doing very well, 12.74, breaking that New Zealand record. It'll be interesting to see what the future holds in store for Kayla Goodwin.
Absolutely. So the triple jump, they had a nice little tailwind for them, and I'm glad to hear that was a legal wind.
Yeah, and it's a really an amazing performance in these conditions. I know I hate to harp on about it, but it is, it's 12 degrees if we're lucky. It's raining. There's a little bit of a wind, which makes it even colder. So far from ideal conditions for the power events. So to see that sort of performance is really pleasing.
Absolutely.
Hey, what's on the agenda next, Hayden? We're pretty early on into the day's program. It's been exciting so far.
So on the track, we've got some 400-metre heats. So the women's and men's under 18 will line up before 12 o'clock. And then just after 12, we've got the men's under 20 400-metre heats. And then we go to the race walk. So we've got the 3,000 metres. And that's going to be men's and women's, all grades, all together, at 12:30. And then shortly after lunch, so from 1 o'clock onwards, is the 800-metre heats. So we'll be getting back into some of the distance events.
You'll be in your elements with the distance event.
I'll finally be able to know what I'm talking about.
You're doing okay, Hayden. I've heard some positive reports from your work at the Street Athletics Festival the other night.
Oh, that was a brilliant event in the warm evening sunshine down in the Christchurch Casino car park. So we had the shot put and the pole vault.
Yep.
Fantastic, taking athletics to the people.
Yeah, and thank you very much to Lincoln University for assisting us to bring that event to Christchurch. Very successful street athletics initiative. Of course, Athletics New Zealand last year won an award at the New Zealand Sport and Recreation Awards for the Sky City vertical pursuit. So just expanding on that initiative, and really important to get athletics out in front of the public. We had great media coverage. Both of the major news networks covered live from the event. So it's really what we need. We love doing this live stream, but you can't match the audience that you get through network television. So very much appreciate the support of Lincoln University, all of our supporters, and of course the fantastic officials who gave up their time to come out and officiate the meet.
Absolutely, and it was a fantastic event. And it's one of those events you kind of think, oh, pole vault, all you need is a crash pad and some poles. But the reality is you need a proper runway, which is quite an involved process, building a runway. And then same with the shot put. You can't just paint a circle on the ground and let them throw some shots.
It's a 2-day setup and a 2-day pack down, and that involves a lot of our own staff time, and don't think the Athletics New Zealand staff are just kind of sitting back having a cup of tea telling people what to do. We're there. We've got our pole vault coach Jeremy McCole and one of our high performance staff, Scott Newman, kind of leading operations, but they're in there with drills and hammers and crowbars, physically building this thing.
I was very impressed in the pack down. It was like a Athletics New Zealand team building exercise.
It actually was. It was quite good getting all of the different departments together, kind of working well.
You can kind of see. You can kind of see who are the field athletes, and when we started lugging around those heavy water containers that were keeping the marquees down.
Yeah, so some people were conspicuous by their absence.
The distance runners were hiding.
Yeah, very fair.
Can we carry more of those light crash pads, please?
Yeah, exactly. Looks like we're gonna catch a bit of coverage of the hammer throw. Well, beautiful footage. The hammer throw brought to you by Mitre 10 Mega, one of the sponsors of this weekend's event, the Jennian Homes Track and Field National Championships. I need to get that right. I'm not saying it right, am I, Hayden? Because
Oh, that's pretty good. It is sponsored by Jennian Homes, who have been a big supporter of Athletics New Zealand for a long time.
I'll tell you what it is. It's the 2019 Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships.
The 120th running.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's phenomenal. And I'd like to know how many other national champs have racked up that many in other sports.
Yeah, not many. I had some interesting information from Rod Syme the other day, who heads our rules committee. For the 100th anniversary, the championships were held in Wellington, and it was a 5-day championship.
Wow.
Yeah, and apparently very, very successful. So with the numbers we've got a really full 3 days, although a little bit of a break now, giving the officials the chance to grab a hot drink, hopefully. But we've got a very full 3 days that goes through until twilight each day. So we see the action with one of the junior hammer throws. Doesn't look like a club uniform this athlete's in, but the officials have let him go. I imagine we're in the warm-up throws. That's why he's not in uniform, Hamish. Think about that. So just confirming it is coverage of the junior men's hammer throw. And in fact, we've broken this event down into 2 flights. So we've got a bunch of athletes. So this looks like the quality section with one athlete over 50 metres, Anthony Barnes out of Auckland, and several athletes over 45 metres. Isaac Vau Mulitola, who's knocking on the door of 50 as well. So it's very good quality junior hammer field, just warming up. So if you're just joining us, you're here for the 2019 Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Championships. Very pleased to bring you this live stream coverage. Bit of a break in the program at the moment. The junior men hammer throwers warming up. The next action on the track, the 400 metre heats. And we're going to the victory ceremony for the women's under 20 high jump, which includes some very talented jumpers out of Wellington. Dave Norris again, legend of Athletics New Zealand, presenting the medals. Dave Norris, multiple national champion in the jumps. But of course, part of the first family of athletics. Both his children going on to represent New Zealand.
Taking the bronze medal in the women's high jump under 20 was Maddie Wilson from Hawke's Bay, Gisborne, with a jump of 1 metre 61.
So 161, picking up the bronze medal. Great jumping.
Went to Imogen Skelton from Wellington with a jump of 1 metre 69. And this year's champion from Wellington, Josephine Reeves, with a height of 1 metre 73.
So definitely a name to store away in the memory banks. Josephine Reeves out of the Hutt Valley, very talented young high jumper. Her coach has got big raps on her. Thinks she's going to be the first New Zealand female to break 2 metres. And it's a line of thinking I concur with. More warm-ups now for the men's hammer. Difficult conditions for these hammer throwers. It's an extremely dynamic event with the 7.26 kg on the end of a rope there.
Everybody, just
slippery
to
conditions.
If you're looking for results, the results are currently being displayed at the top of the stand on a wooden board. So if you're looking for results, they are on the stand and a wooden board at the top. Just also to let everybody know, you can see that there is a break between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. today. This is because we are having the official opening of Puna. We're having that opening down over in the hub. So if you are able to make your way to the opening ceremony for our Puna Centre, please come over to the hub at 3 o'clock.
So just a reminder, if you're in the Canterbury region, do head down. Free entry to the National Championships today on Friday. For ticketing information for Saturday, Sunday, do check out our website, www.athletics.org.nz. But free entry today, Friday. Do come and brave the rain and cold. We hope this weather will clear as the afternoon goes on.
Just to keep you warm while having others around you.
So if you've just tuned in, you are in the right place. This is the 2019 Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Champs, the 120th edition of this competition. And we are coming to you from a very cold, very wet Christchurch at the brand new Puna facility out here. And weather update, it's only 11.9 degrees. So it is very chilly. So distance runners will be loving it. If I was lining up, Hamish, in the 5,000 metres tonight, I would be counting my lucky stars.
I would be crying like a little baby because I quite like the warm. I got used to the warm temperatures running in Texas, and this is just, I don't know, yeah. The best conditions, I think, that everyone can agree on is kind of that low to mid-20s with no winds.
Yes.
Or maybe a very light sort of a breeze.
Well, last year we had fantastic weather up in Hamilton.
Oh, the last 2 years, Hamilton's, put on an absolute stunner. And look, I do feel a little bit bad for the LOC. They put in a power of work alongside the Athletics New Zealand event staff to bring these championships together, and they actually have done a fantastic job. It's going to be a great weekend either way, but the cold weather just does put a little bit of a dampener on things, doesn't it, mate?
Yeah, and if it was on any other day this week in Christchurch, it would have been stunning. I think they've had blue skies all week. So, what can you do?
Yeah, look, I'm very confident it's going to clear. And you know, this rain will go away. It might not warm up to 25 today, but it'll warm up a little bit. And look, let's look on the positive. It's not as windy as it has been. The wind has really been quite strong all week, which that really does play havoc with performances.
And down here yesterday at the track, there were big plumes of dust coming in from nearby construction zones, just wafting across the track. So at least that's all dampened down.
So potentially it's tactical to have a little bit of rain.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. But look, one thing I do see, which is a lesson for all athletes and parents and coaches and administrators, is lots of people wandering around in shorts and they're looking absolutely miserable because they just didn't pack for the weather. They didn't expect it to be a little bit cold, and they didn't expect the rain. And I feel quite sorry for the people I see walking past in shorts, Hayden.
Absolutely. Some people have bought blankets, particularly the field athletes, who will wrap a nice woolen blanket around them.
Yep.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
We've got some coverage down here of the start, by the start-finish line, of just the athletes preparing for the 400-metre heats, and also, they're the athletes.
The hammer throwers down here.
Huddling under the shelter for the hammer throw.
So this is the men's under-20 hammer throw. And have you been through the start list there?
No, I haven't. Let's do that. I'll do one, you do one, and I'll try and avoid the hard names. So we've got Nathan Whiteman out of Wellington, his best 45.42.
And then we've got Jordan Hetzaraki from Northland. He's got a 47-metre throw to his name.
Joseph Quinn, very well coached by his father, out of Wellington. Well, actually, they live in the Carterton region, I want to say. 42.08.
Cool. And our favourite on paper, Anthony Barnes from Auckland. He's got a 54 PB, 54 metres.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Anthony Barnes, looking forward to seeing him compete. There or thereabouts, Liam Johnston of Canterbury, 44.43.
And then we've got, I should have really read this name beforehand. Okay, it's Isaac Va'u Militalo.
We need to get better at this, Hayden.
Oh, man.
He's Isaac's out of Auckland.
Sorry, Isaac.
And he throws 49.48, so knocking on the door of that 50-metre mark. And then finally, Matthew Todd's out of Canterbury, 39.28. Keeping in mind, flight 1 of 1, so that is it. 7 competitors in the junior men's hammer throw, one of the most exciting and dynamic events. But we're moving on to heat 1 of the men's under 18 400 metres.
Lane 4 we have Matt Durant from Canterbury. In lane 5 Matthew Eadie from Auckland. In lane 6 Taylor Smith from Waikato Bay of Plenty. And lane 7 John Wells from Canterbury. That's heat 1, men's 18 400 metres.
The 400 metres, this is an event that is, it's one of those lactic acid leg burning races, and how it'll work with the weather conditions today, they'll be running around the first bend and then straight into the face of a very icy, moderately strong southerly.
They're going to want to have warmed up very well for this event and try and stay as warm as they can. So we'll run through the field. Matt Durant, Canterbury in lane 4, Matthew Eadie of Auckland in 5, Taylor Smith, cousin through marriage, Waikato Bay of Plenty in lane 6, and John Wells out of Canterbury in lane 7. You see Taylor Smith very sensibly there in the long pants and the undershirt. We've got the athlete from Northlands. That appears to be Jordan Hitaraki. Big, strong Jordan Hikarati.
And good control in the circle.
Yeah,
and
that looks a pretty solid throw out towards 50 metres. And keep in mind, PB of 47.00 for Hitaraki.
Wow, that looked like a very good throw. So each of the athletes, a reminder of how it works. You get 6 throws.
That distance coming up on the display board, 49. Have they got that right? 49, big PB in these conditions, 49.85. Hitaraki, massive PB as they go to their blocks for the under 18 men's 400 metres. I'm blown away in these conditions.
I know.
How do you whip it out to a 285 PB? That's crazy.
And it's never, ever that cold in Northland.
Never. The winterless north. Here they go, the under 18 men's 400 metres.
We've got Matt Durant wearing the Canterbury red, Matthew Eadie from Auckland, Taylor Smith from Waikato Bay of Plenty, John Wells from Canterbury, and who have we got as we try and work out who's making up that stagger?
Matthew Eadie looking good, as well as Durant from Canterbury making up the stagger on Taylor Smith. Taylor Smith, previously an 800-metre specialist, so look for him to be strong down the home straight. In fact, Smith coming back.
Yeah, Smith's got the best PB. He's almost a sub-50 performer. So Smith coming into the lead as we hit
there he is. Long, smooth striding Taylor Smith. Now, very proud to be somewhat slightly related to this fantastic young athlete. His family should be proud. He's got a lot of talent, Taylor Smith. I think that talent potentially lies over 800 metres later in his career, but very comfortable win, Taylor Smith, taking the win from Matthew Eadie out of Auckland.
Yeah, so those big long legs just eating up the track in that last 100 metres. So top 3 in each heat will go through, and then the next 2 fastest. So we see John Wells of Canterbury picking up that 3rd automatic qualifier. So there's just 2 heats in the under 18 men's 400 metres. So that was the first heat of the 2. So we also have the men's under 20 hammer throw has just kicked off. Now the next ones to come out and battle this pretty nasty Christchurch March weather. Autumn has arrived with a vengeance. just in time for the beginning of the 2019 Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Champs. So thanks for tuning in, and if you are watching this on Facebook, do make sure that you share this to your club Facebook page, your training group, Facebook groups, tag in your friends, family members, training partners. Make sure we get all the eyeballs that need to be watching this live. So in the blocks, we have the second heat of 2 heats of the under 18 men's 400 metres. So I'll go through the start list. In lane 3 out of Canterbury, Luke Barrett. In lane 4, Benjamin Lund of Otago. And then we've got 3 Canterbury athletes in total in this heat. So the second Canterbury athlete, Jack Rogers, will start in lane 5, and lane 6, Mark Lowe of Canterbury. And then James Robertson of Auckland, coming out of King's College in Auckland. So on paper, our favourites for this heat, Mark Lowe in lane 6. You can just see him, number 512. He's got a best of 50.17, so just knocking on the door of that magic sub 50 range. So him and Taylor Smith from the other heat, who stormed through with a very solid final 100 metres to win that heat. And there we see our under 20 hammer throw, one of our Canterbury athletes. Now the 400 metres getting away. In lane 3, Barrett of Canterbury, Lund of Otago, Rogers of Canterbury, Lowe of Canterbury, and James Robertson of Auckland is on the outside. And there we see James Robertson coming around the bend into that strong southerly on the back straight. Starting off nice and strong. James Robertson has actually stepped down from more of a distance running background and focusing on the 400 metres as he sort of hits his senior years at high school. And just inside him, Mark Lowe is starting to make up that stagger as we come into the final straight. So Mark Lowe is looking very strong. James Robertson's just getting pulled along there, and it is going to be Mark Lowe who strides through to take the first qualifying spot, and then it's James Robertson who will book his place in the final along with Jack Rogers, and we'll wait and see who's got the other 2 spots.
We now have the medal ceremony for the women's triple jump.
So there we see Mark Lowe standing up nice and tall.
We have the wonderful Dave Norris doing the
just cruising through. A lot of these athletes will be just trying to keep a little bit in the tank because it's going to be a big weekend for them. Some may be doubling in the 200 or possibly the 800, and all of them I'm sure will be looking to also go in the 4x400 on Sunday afternoon. So these are the results for the women's under 20 triple jump.
Women's triple jump under 20 today was,
and we're going to get the medal ceremony. We'll have seen a new New Zealand age group record. So a fantastic performance in trying conditions. It's one of those mornings where you're kind of like, how on earth could someone pull off a New Zealand best time or distance in these sorts of conditions? But it has been done this morning. So
gold medalist today from Waikato Bay with an under 18 New Zealand record and under 19 New Zealand record being broken today in the women's triple jump under 20 is Kayla Goodwin with a jump of 12 metres and 74. So
Kayla Goodwin with a jump of 12 minutes 74, 12 metres 74 I should say.
So congratulations
phenomenal
to all the women
New Zealand under 18 record.
20, and especially to Kayla Goodwin, who now holds the New Zealand under 18 and under 19 record with that superb triple jump of 12 metres 74 centimetres.
So heat 1 of the men's 2400 metres going out onto the track. In lane 2 we have Cameron Miller of Otago. Lane 3 we have Sam Potter from Auckland. Lane 4 we have Samuel King from Canterbury. Lane 5 we have Rawinda Singh from Papakura. Lane 6 we have John Gerber from Canterbury. Lane 7 is Joseph Chamberlain from Manawatu Wanganui. And lane 8 is Harry Silwood from Wellington.
All right, so welcome if you just tuned in to the New Zealand Track and Field Champs, sponsored by Jennian Homes, as we see another one of our hammer throw athletes for the men's under 20 step up to the circle in very cold conditions. These men are very brave to just be wearing their singlets out there. It's rather hypothermic. But with me in the commentary booth, I have John Bowden, who will be known to many of you as a runner from the, I don't want to age you too much, from the 80s.
Let's say the 80s and be done with it.
So Commonwealth Games representative, multiple World Cross Country representative. Now, do you want to explain your role now with Athletics New Zealand?
Yeah, got the honour of being the out of stadia coordinator.
Brilliant.
So basically, that's anything that happens outside the track. So it's a fun job.
Brilliant. And so you're involved with part of the selection policies for teams going overseas and all that?
Yeah, look, I try to get out of it actually because I've done my stint way back in the early 2000s. But hey, look, it's a privilege to do that. We're along with some great other people. We select teams and help develop policies, and yeah, I think we just, you want to say, there's some results there.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Congratulations. So one of the key events that is coming up shortly is the World Cross Country Champs, which is not too far away.
Yeah, look, in Denmark in a couple of weeks, and so look, we're really excited. We selected a team of 20, and I think only 2 have withdrawn because of injury concerns.
Yeah.
So to have 18 go and nearly 3 teams out of 4 that possible is really a great testament to all the work the coaches have done. My fellow selectors in Athletics New Zealand, that we can send 18 to a World Championship. So really excited for the athletes.
Absolutely. So lining up here, this is the heat 1 of 2 in the men's under 20 400 metres. And out very strong is our Canterbury athlete, who I believe is Samuel King. It may have been John Gerber. But they're certainly our 2 top performers on paper, but I'll go through the start list very quickly. So we have Cameron Miller out of Otago, Sam Potter of Auckland, Samuel King of Canterbury, Rawinda Singh of Papakura, John Gerber of Canterbury, and Joseph Chamberlain of Manawatu Wanganui, Harry Selwood of Wellington. But coming through, finishing very, very strongly, John Gerber, as we come into the finish. He's going to book his place in the final, no problem at all. So top 3 will go through, and then the next 2 fastest. So it looked like our other Canterbury athletes, so Samuel King got through, and possibly Sam Potter got the other automatic qualifying spot. As we see, incredible strength. He didn't need to run that fast, but a good confidence booster.
Oh, it is. I suppose, when you get in the lead, it's a great feeling. Even winning a heat, it gives you that self-belief and confidence going into a final. So, yeah, fantastic running.
Absolutely. Now we do have the men's hammer throw, the under 20 men's hammer throw going on the background, but we'll get back to the World Cross Country Champs. So we've got a good solid field going. Now, in the past, we haven't sent as many athletes. Is that because the standard is the quality of athletes has increased over recent years, or?
Yeah, look, I think that's probably it. I mean, the coaches out there are doing a fantastic job now.
Yeah.
I've seen the pathways that other runners who perhaps just haven't got quite ready yet for the Olympic and Commonwealth Games can go to a World Championship. And I've always believed that this is one of the toughest races in the world to run, because you've got 1,500 metre runners to the marathon competing over the same 10k distance. So it's kind of an evener. So look, it's a tough race. I mean, as you've suggested, I ran 4 of them and they're pretty tough, all of them.
Yeah.
But they'll learn from this experience, and so I think coming back, especially for the juniors, we really focused on getting some teams for the junior men and women, and we've filled those positions with 6, with 3 to count. So it's fantastic that the juniors now can get that experience over in Denmark, which will be a great place to visit for your first championship.
And it is a great pathway because those standards for the Olympics, Commonwealth Games, World Champs, they're pretty lofty. And I know the standards for the cross country is still solid. You've still got to be very, very good.
Look, we maybe lowered them a little bit because we found that going the other way wasn't quite working.
Yeah.
And that has encouraged more. And then, funnily enough, they've achieved the standards what we wanted anyway by encouraging more people to go for it. Because you had to sit down with your coach, I guess, and go, this is a chance, but there's about 10 others or 12 others doing what we're thinking of doing. So you tend to train harder, be a bit more professional. So, it's good all around. So it's fantastic.
So as a ballpark, if we're looking at let's talk senior men, senior women, what sort of times for the 10K are we talking to be in the ballpark for, I guess, nomination, not selection?
Look, it's been 30 minutes and 35, I think, for women, for senior men and women. And we got full teams nearly for that, except for the senior women. But that's okay. We've got to start somewhere, and we've started. And I think we can just grow it from here, and it just gives another possibility. Quickly, I tried a 400 once. It's not for a 10K run, though. It wasn't pleasant. I'd rather do 25 than 1.
Yeah. Okay, so for the one lapper, this is the second lap of 2 in the men's under 20 400 metres. So we have in lane 2, Rowan Blakey of Wellington, William Ferguson of Canterbury in lane 3, Ethan Butcher in lane 4 of Wellington, Henry Ma in lane 5 of Waikato Bay of Plenty, Ollie Parkinson of Auckland, Mikhail Starzinski of Wellington, and Louis Andrews of Canterbury. So eyes on lane 7 and lane 2. So Rowan Blakey, he's a 49.36 performer in lane 2, but then in the Wellington singlet, you can see already making up that stagger. Michael Starzinski, he's a 49.50 runner. So expect those 2 Wellington athletes to feature very highly, as we see Rowan Blakey running very strong on the inside and looking pretty comfy, given that he's already run 300 metres, is Mikhail Starzinski, I should say, coming into the last 50 metres, and just inside of him is Henry Ma coming in 3rd place there.
Again, good form coming down the home street for most of those athletes, so I guess that's going into a headwind as well. So very good running yet again by these junior men.
So just trying to get a little look at that time. So 50.51, that's solid running given it's a heat and given the conditions are challenging to say the least. There's still quite a bit of wind around, but the rain just continues to drizzle. We were hoping that it would sort of finish up about 8 or 9 o'clock this morning, but it's hanging around. And I bet
good cross-country weather.
Yeah.
Good for our Denmark athletes that are probably running in the 5,000 later on tonight, some of them.
Yeah.
Just to get their last hit out before Denmark.
I was saying before, I bet the distance runners woke up this morning saying, thank you, my prayers have been answered. All the sprinters were just thinking of their hammies.
Exactly right.
Certainly tough conditions for anyone who wants to exert a lot of force in a very short amount of time. But for those who are on the endurance side, have got a bit more time to prepare for their kick for home.
And a lot of them, well, still, as a former distance runner, we complain having to go 12 and a half laps into the wind.
Yeah.
So there's always a downside to everything, I guess.
So there we have the men's under 20 hammer throw. So good solid throw there by our Wellington athlete. I think that was Nathan Whiteman. So possibly getting up towards his PB. He's got a PB of 45 metres. So that one might be close. Next behind him is Anthony Barnes of Auckland. He's got a 54 metres to his name. So he's certainly the favourite in that competition. So we'll be keeping an eye on that and try to keep you informed on how progress is going. As always with these athletics competitions, there's a lot happening all at the same time. So we do our best to catch as much as we possibly can.
And the other interesting thing is that both Graham Jones and Tony Sargent
So Anthony
hold
Barnes
some of the age group records.
winding up, big release. Look at that distance. That's well beyond the 50-metre mark. A good, strong throw into this wind.
We bid a farewell to John Bowden. Thank you very much for joining us, John, the out-of-stadia coordinator for Athletics New Zealand. He's a very interested party. He's going to be watching these race walks, but we're getting the word we're wrapping up the coverage, so we'll be back with you at 1 p.m. this afternoon.
That's right. It's time for me to go and see if there's any of those chocolate brownies we had last year, and see what else is on the menu for lunch. So we will be back with you shortly after lunchtime, and we'll try and sort out this weather. So there we have a program for the afternoon. A lot of action still to come, so do tune in very, very shortly. Thanks, everyone.
Ka kite anō.
Walks have been in the international spotlight a little recently. The authorities are threatening to close off the 50-kilometre walk for men and change it into a 30-kilometre walk. And there's also an initiative to have electronic shoes, which will show whether
This Athletics New Zealand event is proudly brought to you by Jennian Homes.